come together. Service all ages and all hair types. To book an appointment, just head on over to mrclippers.booksy.com. Again, that's mrclippers.booksy.com. You can check out my work, you can check cost of services, and most importantly, check out those reviews. Man, I'm telling you, 5 stars. Listen, as a licensed professional barber with over 20 years of experience, this is what I do. You owe it to yourself to get the look that you want, the sharpness and the precision, just like you want it. Come on by Heads Up Barbershop and Salon and check out Mr. Clippers. It will be my pleasure to give you the service that you deserve.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike Robinson, and this is another episode of Let's Take a Walk. What's up, my man? What's up? Shout out to my brother Ked. Already checking in, man. Thank you. I appreciate your support, bro. I hope everybody had a dope week. I absolutely had a great week, man. And you know, we made it here safe, and we made almost we had the weekend eve, I guess you could say. I hope everybody had a pleasant week and has a dope weekend planned. I'm pretty busy this weekend. I got a few things that I need to take care of, but that's a good, I guess that's a good situation to have. But anyway, tonight we have another special guest on the slate. She hasn't made it in yet. Excuse me, but she is a accomplished Christian music artist. I'm having trouble talking today. She has a new video for her single, Still Gonna. Let me make sure I get it right. Still Gonna Do It. Still Gonna Do It. We're gonna sit down and yes, yeah, that's right, kid. Get that money, get that bag, bro. Secure the bag, like DJ Khaled said. Secure the bag. An accomplished music artist, singer, songwriter, entrepreneur. She's not just busy in the music field, but she's also in the marketplace as well as a business owner and an entrepreneur. Her name is AMETHYST, and she is from the Chicago area, Chi-Town, the Windy City. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with her and chatting with her about her musical journey and the things that she, has going on. But as I said, she hasn't quite made it on yet. So I'm gonna just sit and talk with y'all for a minute. Tell me what's going on in everybody's life. Tell me what's going on. What don't I know right now? What's going on in the world? Sometimes I feel like I am very blocked off, very sheltered. So sometimes I be so in my bubble that I miss out on stuff that's going on. Somebody tell me what's new in their world, man. What y'all got going on, man. Like I said, it's the weekend. Here in Virginia, the weather has been very, very dope. They tell me that it's going to be very cooler tomorrow, but the last couple of days it's been like 70, 80 degrees outside, man. Almost shorts weather. and trust me, there's a few people out here that tried it. They tried it. It's always a few. But it was very nice today too. But tomorrow they say it's gonna be, cool and rainy, but that's all right. It is what it is, But anyway, y'all tell me, what y'all got going on? What's new in you guys' life? Um, what have y'all seen on TikTok or on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram that was interesting, man? I saw. I tell you what I saw. I saw this young man. He was playing the drums and he basically got basically embarrassed by a pastor for whatever reason, man. But it was, as a young guy, man, and you never want to see that. You never want to see someone be, disrespected in that way of any age. You know what I mean? Um, we got to learn to be, we got to be respectful of just like just like we expect the young people to be respectful to the elders. We got to give respect to the young people as well. Oh, is it 27 in Ohio? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Thank God in Virginia, man, we don't really, I mean, we get snow here and there. We might get 1 or 2 or maybe 3 days of snow where the whole city shuts down. But for the most part, it's pretty manageable here. It gets cold, but nothing that a heated car and a nice winter coat can't fix. But anyway, but yeah, we can't expect respect and not give, respect. And so it was that was a very unfortunate situation. And unfortunately, it really there's a lot of light that's been shined on it. Um, so I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Who saw the video? Who saw it? And what did y'all think about it? I saw it, like I said, and I was very disappointed. I'm in Hampton, man. I'm in Hampton, VA, bro. Hampton Roads, bro. Hampton University, right over by the university, man. Right here, right here. If Amethyst is watching this, or if she sees this, let's let her know. To see if she's having trouble trying to log in or whatever. Um, hopefully she's not having any. Hopefully she's not having any issues. But yeah, what do y'all think about that? I saw a new video today. Please do, please do, please do, man. Hit me up. Um, I saw a new video where that same pastor took up a collection, $150 seed collections, for the young man to repent. It was a repentant seed. I don't listen. I don't even know how to feel about that. So you're taking up money, you're collecting money so that I will repent. And then after I repent, then what happens? Like, do I get the money? What happens to the money that these people give up, for me to repent? Do I get that? Is that some type of incentive, or is that some type of reward that I get, or what? Because that to me is super wild. That is super wild. I'm gonna I'm gonna call her, or call her manager. Okay, nobody's nobody's answering. So you know what? We're gonna do something. Hold on one second. This is what I'm gonna do. I am going to, for the first time ever, I'm gonna post a log on link. If you want to log on, man, and to talk about something, whatever, I'm gonna send the link and you can log on and we could chop it up. So here it is. Here it is, y'all. But yeah, if there's the link, man, if y'all want to chop it up, log on and we could chop it up about whatever. Right. Where's the money at? If I repent, if I apologize, if I do, then what? Do I get the dough? Do I get that bread? What happens to it? What happened to it? That's super crazy. Look, I'm not judging her, and I'm not judging the young man either, but something gotta give. You gotta make it make sense to me, okay? Somebody gotta tell me something. But yeah, that's crazy. And you know, unfortunately, that's one of the things that makes people, that kind of sours people on the whole idea of God and church. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes people look at the church side-eyed sometimes. That's very, very crazy. That's very, very crazy. And so, you know, I, for one, you know, I encourage you to, you know, to pray, man, for and seek your own relationship, because if you depend on some of these people that are in leadership and all that, sometimes you will be disappointed. You may see something that you you may not want to see. You may not need to see or want to see. Um, Listen, but again, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I'm just, you know, I'm just here. That's right. How, you know, you have church where you are. You are the church, bro. Like wherever you are, that's where the church is, man. Because God is everywhere, man. God is with you. God is inside of you. So wherever you are, He is. So you know, and you cannot run away from yourself. So that's impossible. So listen, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. Um, yeah, man. If anybody want to log on, man, I just posted the link. We can chop it up about whatever, however, whenever. It's all good. While we're waiting on my guest, while we're waiting on Miss Amethyst to come on tonight, and we can talk about her music, her upcoming project, and some of the things that she has going on today, or you know, currently, I should say. Other than that, man, you know, like I said, whatever y'all want to talk about, let's talk about it. I didn't want to let this moment go by and and not at least not and not at least come on and address people who may be want to come on. It is what it is. I'm assuming that she has some type of technical issues, possibly going on. Maybe. Hey, how are you? I am good. Are you having some issues or I'm sorry? Right, because Mr. Marshall said that you might not be tech savvy, so I did it early, so maybe just in case we needed to test everything. And I forget you are in Chicago, so the time I'm actually on right now. I'm absolutely. I forgot you're in Chicago, so the time there is a time difference too. Okay. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so she will be on in about 5 to 10 minutes. So with that being said, man, I'm on here like tap dancing or whatever, but that's all good. It's good. It's good training. Good training for me. Shout out to my buddy Kid, my brother Kid, um, supporting the brother as I'm going through this experience right now. Um, listen, man, he's driving trucks, man, so he's going all across the country. So I pray, pray traveling mercies with him and covering him and everything and going ahead of him, allow God to go ahead of him, to wherever he may find himself on today or tomorrow or the next day, just prepare the way for him to go and return safely to his family. Um, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And you know what? Shout out to all the fathers out there, Black fathers, man. We in Black History Month, but as we know, we're Black all year, and we deal with things all year. It just happens to be the month that's designated as Black History Month. So I want to send a shout out to the Black fathers, the single fathers, the married fathers, the step fathers. The step in fathers, the ones that are there when the biological fathers are not there, man. The ones that sacrifice and that willingly take the L for the sake of their family. You know what I'm saying? They take the least, give the most, and take the least. Shout out to y'all, man, and just keep doing what y'all doing, man, and you will be rewarded. I promise you, man. I tip my hat to you, and I respect you. Um, I have 3 children of my own, man, 2 boys and a girl, and I love them dearly. And but the funny thing is, right, is that, and I was having this conversation with a friend of mine earlier. When you look at yourself as a parent, you don't really see yourself as being you're just you, right? You get up in the morning, you put your pants on or your dress or whatever, and you go and you move around and you work your job and you pay your bills and you come home and you do these things and it's just regular, for you. But then you got these little people who just think that you are the world. You know what I'm saying? If they're anything like my children, when I come home, I can hear them. Like if they're upstairs, I can hear them. Boom, 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 boom. Dad's home. Boom, 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 boom. When they run down the stairs and they greet me, and that I cannot explain to you how awesome a feeling that is. First off, but then I kind of laugh to myself because I wonder, like, what do they see in me? I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? But they see me. You know, they love me and they treat me as though I'm a king. You know what I'm saying? And I am, I guess. Nah, not I guess. God has made us kings and queens and all of that. So you feel like you're just you, but they let you know. Kids have a way of letting you know that you have a purpose, that you have that you have a purpose on this earth. You know what I'm saying? It makes you appreciate how your parents feel about you. It gives you an example of how your parents feel towards you when they see you, and when you show them love, and when you show them affection, and you show them appreciation for who they are and what they do in your life. Um, so yeah, I just want to shout out all the black parents, man, the black men, particularly the black man, because we get a very there's a we get a very bad rap at certain times. And so anytime I have the opportunity to celebrate, to celebrate us, I absolutely will do that, man, because, you know, we have a lot to deal with. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot to deal with. Just, just getting home safely. Just getting home safely is a great blessing in and of itself, just by itself. Sometimes I pull up, sometimes I pull up to in my driveway, and I have to it's like, woof, I made it. You get what I'm saying? It's like just being able to get home in one piece is a big deal. That's a big deal. And then, but then to have, but then to come in and there's somebody to greet you, somebody to show their love and admiration and respect for you. I mean, that makes you forget what's going on outside. Mob Deep said it's a war going on outside. But when you got a dope family, you got dope kids, um, listen, they make you forget. It makes you forget about that war going on outside for however long, for that few hours or for that few minutes that you're home, they make you forget. You know what I'm saying? When they hugging on you and they're kissing you and they're asking you if you feel okay, and they ask you how your day went, and you talking to them about how their day went. And, you just trading stories and you're laughing together and you're playing games together and watching movies together and doing all those type of things, great things that families do. Man, it really is a blessing. I really, I probably sound like the old man on how old man, but I really miss being with my family a lot. When I was a kid, we used to do everything together: Thanksgivings, Christmases, barbecues. Like every weekend was almost like a family reunion, almost every weekend. And we don't really do that. A lot of times, if your family is anything like my family, we're scattered. We're kind of scattered all, over the country and doing different things, and we don't always get a chance to spend time with one another. But I really miss that. And if I had to name one thing that is a reason for why some of the things are happening in our world that it is, it's in part because of that we don't have that family interaction much anymore. We don't have that we don't have those moments to dwell from. You know what I'm saying? Some of our our matriarchs and our patriarchs, they have gone on, and the legacy that they left behind, sometimes we just don't see the importance of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, as my pastor would say, me, my four, and no more. You know what I'm saying? We kind of have that mentality where we get in our own little bubble and we do just what we do. And if we have the opportunity, or if we come across a situation where we can get together, then so be it. But if not, you on that side of town, I'm on this side of town, she's on that side of town, she's in another state, she's in another country, he's in another country. You just don't know. But I mean, I guess that's life. I guess that's life. And it's probably not everybody's story. It's probably not the majority of you guys' story. But I'm just speaking for me. Like I miss my family. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to, create situations where we all got together and ate together and prayed together and just enjoyed one another in a more consistent manner. And it can happen. It absolutely can happen. Um, like my brother Ked, man, I call him my brother, even though he's not my blood brother, but we've been through so much together, and he and his family have embraced me in such a way that you can't tell me that I'm not family. I know that anything he has, I got, and vice versa. Anything that I have, he's got, and anybody in his family is the same way. Um, and that's a blessing as well. Uh, and I believe that we need more of that, especially for our young men, man. There's not enough connection, especially with the OGs, especially with the mentors, especially with the generation before us. There's not enough connection. We have to make more of an effort and more opportunity to be able to pour into our young Black men, particularly. Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna just say in the hood, in the hood, for instance. I'm talking about in general. We have to make more time for our young Black men, man. We gotta pour into them, and we gotta be more of examples to them, because whether they know it or not, whether we know it or not, we need each other, man. We need each other, because we are not, on our end, we're not getting any younger. So when we get to a place where it's harder for us to get around and it's harder for us to do things, we're looking to the younger generation to hold us up and help us out. But if there's no connection, there's no relationship there, then who's gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? And then on the flip side of that, the young people, the things that they're going through, that they see, that they experience, if they don't have any connection for us, they are forced to kind of lean on their own intellect instead of reaching out to the OGs who have been there before, that can say, don't go in that direction. You can go in this direction. You don't have to do this. You can do that. I have, or even better yet, I have an opportunity that I can give to you. I can help you. I got this position. I can teach you a trade. I can, whatever the case may be, man. It's so important to have that connection, man. It's so important to have that relationship. I think that, again, I think that that's something that we are missing in our community. Ownership as well. Entrepreneurship. I wasn't really taught as a young man, as a child, that I could own anything, that I could get a business license and actually sell something or provide something that people that would actually be drawn to and actually consume or invest in. Oh, I see Miss Amethyst is in the studio. But yeah, but as I got older, I realized that, there I have an opportunity. I can own, I can provide services that people, that people will demand. And I'm a man of color, you know what I'm saying? And it's my goal and it's my responsibility to be an example and hopefully to provide opportunities to whomever God allows to cross my path. And I'm praying for the opportunity to be that and do that in a way that's, that will change someone's life the way that, I explained, like my brother Cad and his family um, did for me. Um, but yeah, that's just my spiel. But again, Miss Amethyst is here, and so I'm gonna bring her on um, real quick. Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are
He-
you? I'm well.
I am good. I'm good. You had me worried for a second, but you know what? I realized I forgot that you're in Chicago and I'm in Virginia, so the time difference. You know what I mean? I didn't take that into account. So
Gotcha.
that's my fault. I apologize for that. And so we kind of
No
had a
problem at
snafu
all.
with the communication and all that. But I definitely take full responsibility.
No worries. We are here.
So we're going to kind of start over. What's up, everybody? This is, this is Let's Take a Walk, and this is your boy Mike Robinson. And I hope everybody had an awesome week, and yeah, as I did, and as usual, Eltar is bringing you the best guests. We have the best guests. I'm saying that right now. Eltar, I'm challenging every other podcast out there. Wait, I got the best. We got the best guests. So tonight is no different. Tonight we welcome Miss Amethyst. She is a singer, songwriter. She's an entrepreneur and just an all-around girl boss. And I am super excited to sit down with her and just kind of pick her brain about, you know, basically the who's, what's, and whys of who she is and what she does. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Miss Amethyst, I'm going to give her a moment to kind of reintroduce herself and give a little background to who she is and her movement and some of the things that she has going on. So with that being said, Miss Amethyst, you have the floor.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike, for having me. I'm just excited to be here with you tonight. So my name is Amethyst. I'm a recording artist, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, represent Chi-Town. It's very cold here. So I'm a little jealous. Whoever's in the warm place tonight, yeah, we were not getting along tonight at all. But I'm a PK, I'm a pastor's kid. And so I've served in ministry all of my life in just about every capacity that you can imagine, every choir, every administrative assistant, every prayer team. Yep, that was me. Home, my church and home kind of run synonymous with each other. But yeah, I've labored in ministry. I've been singing since I was a little girl. 3 years of age. And I started singing with my sister, Angela, and I. We were very close in age. We're only 15 months apart. And when we were little girls, my mom dressed us alike. So some people still says, "Oh, hey, how's your twin?"
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh, my twin, we're not twins, but yes, my sister's doing great." My mom said that when my sister was born, she was like, and then I was born, I was like, soprano and alto, perfect. So that's
Right.
kind of how we started. My mom was our first vocal coach. She's the first musician. She's my first introduction to music and what it means to not just be a singer, but to be a minstrel. Because there's a difference, right? Than singing versus being a minstrel, someone who's yielded, someone who's a vessel, someone who's sing with the purpose of reconciliation, reconciling others back to God. And that's essentially what I'm doing. And so I sang in all of the gospel choirs throughout schools and high school. I led Northwestern University's gospel choir, 50 voice gospel choir in my college years. I'm a wildcat. Hello, somebody. Graduated from Northwestern University And I am over the praise and worship team, music and fine arts, and youth adult ministry at Holy Simple Cathedral, my home church, Harvey, Illinois. And shout out to my church family and my dad, Superintendent Douglas Dwight Moyer Sr. Just about 4 years ago, I recorded my first single, which is called Do It. Did amazing, and that was kind of my introductory to the world as a recording artist. Last year, I was blessed to receive a Stellar Award for Rap Hip Hop Song of the Year for my single Redeemed. And then this past November, I released my third single entitled Still Gonna Do It, which is on the airways. And I'm just praying that it continues to bless the people of God all over the world. So here we are.
I want to tell you, and when I thought about it this morning, and I'm going to tell you honestly, I wake up to you every morning. You come on, our Alexa is set up for Kirk Franklin praise, right?
Yes.
And for some reason, your song comes on right when I'm supposed to get up. So you're like the first person that I hear every single morning. And it's like it's at least for the last week and a half or so. At least since I started noticing, actually. And that is awesome. You kind of answered some of the questions that I had already, but we're gonna rock with it. Still Gonna Do It.
Yeah.
What's the story behind Still Gonna Do It? What was that? What's behind that?
Yeah, so you know what? It was God. I don't know if you've heard my previous single. For those of you who've heard Redeemed, it was very much kind of an urban, hip hop, Caribbean, come on and move and groove, and you got a beat, but the message is still there type of song. And so I had a lot of great success. A lot of people were blessed by that song, and it was really embraced. And I had to figure out if I was going to stay in that same vein or completely switch it up. And I just felt the unction, the power to go back to my roots. I think that there's something missing in the day that we're living in. And I really wanted to go back to Sunday morning church sound. And so Still Gonna Do It really kind of embraces the sounds that I heard when I was a little girl. They said, you look so young, but I'm seasoned. My father, my grandfather, they would sing hymns on Sunday mornings. I grew up listening to Dr. Maddie Moss Clark and Whitney Houston and the Clark sisters. And I would lead as a child big songs, adult songs like I Love the Lord and Climbing Up the Mountain. And, all of these songs really kind of shaped and gave me the foundation. So I really wanted to give my fans and my supporters a glimpse of the versatility of my music and my repertoire. And so we went back and we did this song. And I want to give a shout out and show some love to Asaph Ward, an incredible minstrel, innovative. If you know him, you know his mind works just like an instrument. And Asaph Ward produced this song, Still Gonna Do It. And he found the writers for me, Stephanie Mayer and LaShawn Hayes out of Nashville, Tennessee. And while we were recording this song in the studio, I kid you not, I literally felt the power of God. I felt the release in the spirit, and it just felt right. Sometimes you say, you just know when you know. And this was the third song I recorded with Asaph Ward. But when we recorded it, we both, in the middle of the recording, stopped and said, this is it. This is the one. This is what's supposed to be your next single. And we released it. And God really has just been doing his thing ever since then. So I'm just honored to be the vessel that he used to bring this song forward to the world.
So tell me this. Does it always happen like that? Like, do you always know?
I don't always know. With my first single, it was different. We went going back and forth, even with Redeemed. Redeemed was never really supposed to be a single. When they asked me to do Redeemed, I said, who's singing that? I don't sing like that. I don't sing that type of music. I'm not no hip hop artist. And it was like,
Right.
Amethyst, open up your eyes. Don't limit yourself. God does not place limitations upon his people. And they said, just
Right.
try it. And I tried it, and God got the glory out of it, and he was magnified. And so it doesn't always happen like that, but this time it did. And it's so important that you have an ear where you can hear the voice of God, where you can feel a release and a shift in the spirit. And I felt that because I had a relationship with him, and I just knew this was the time for this season.
That's awesome. That's an interesting point, and I kind of want to stay there for a second. When you when you're in your creative mode, when you're actually building the projects and things of that nature, is it ever a challenge for you personally to not chase a sound? And what I mean by that is you have your niche, you have what you're comfortable with, and the parameters that you work in. But you see artist X over here, and artist X seems to be having a lot of success doing something that you don't necessarily do. And not just artist X, artist Y, artist Z, artist Q, they seem to be using the same blueprint, and they seem to be making a lot of headway. Is it a challenge for you to kind of have tunnel vision as far as your process goes? Have you ever found yourself chasing a sound?
That used to be a struggle of mine. And we are so caught up as to what's popular, what's being played, what's getting the most streams, what's getting the most likes, what kind of music is winning the most awards. And I really, really had to go into prayer and ask God, Lord, you give me what you want me to say, because my assignment is not everybody else's assignment. The assignment that I have is for me. The gift that you have is tailor made for me. And they're going to be the people of God that is only going to receive deliverance by my obedience to you. There'll be people who will only be free by me singing the song that you created in the time that you ordained it to be released through me. And so when you really get that conviction, nothing else matters. I don't care who's doing what and who's singing what song. I know what I'm called to do, and I'm going to be committed, and I'm going to be faithful to my calling and my purpose and my destiny, realizing that there are so many people who are waiting to be free through the song that God gave to me.
Awesome. You mentioned earlier about the traditional sound. Um, can you if I'm hearing correctly, you were basically alluding to the fact that there needs to be more that needs to be brought back into the forefront, more of the traditional sound. Can you kind of expound on that? Your feelings as far as the traditional sound versus, I guess, what we're hearing currently.
Yeah,
What are your feelings? Can you expand on your feelings about that?
Yeah, so I remember that the traditional sounds of gospel music really ministered to my heart, to my spirit. And sometimes it's not about the type of music that's played, it's behind the message. And for me, I can speak for myself, when I'm going through something, when I'm in the middle of battling, I always don't need to hear a song that's going to make me dance. I need to hear a song that's going to minister to my spirit, and that's going to equip me for the battle that lies ahead. And I love all types of music. I embrace all types of music, but sometimes you got to get back to your roots. You got to get back to the foundation. You got to get back to those things which you know can work for you and get you through the storm in the midst of adversity. What is going to minister to you to get to that next place? And I think it's very important that we don't lose sight of our foundations, the richness and the purity of just simple gospel music. Doesn't need to have an intricate melody. It doesn't need to have a big band playing behind it. It just needs to have a message that resonates in the hearts and the minds of the people of God.
Wow. So, with that being said, currently, what are your feelings about the current state of Christian music? What do you feel like um, it's in good hands? Is it in a good space, or what are your feelings of currently about the genre?
Yeah. Again, I love all gospel music. I do believe it's in great hands. We have some amazing minstrels in the body of Christ in the gospel industry. And I believe there's something for everybody. What appeals to you may be different from what appeals to me. And that's the most important thing to me, that there is something that appeals and that's relatable for all people. For those who are newer in their walk with God, they need something. And then for those who've been in this walk for a long time, they may need something more seasoned, something more refined, something with a deeper message and with a deeper meaning. And I believe that we have balance right now in the gospel music, that no matter where you are in your walk with Christ, no matter how long you've been saved, there is something for everybody. And you'll hear that also on my album that's going to be released. You'll hear that there's something applicable for everybody, no matter where you are in your walk with God and your relationship. I want there to be something in a message, a song for you.
It's said that you have some interesting features on this project. Can you speak to some of the features that you have on the project, and what that process was like, what that experience was like?
Yes, absolutely. So if you know gospel music, you know Dietrich Haddon. And so Dietrich Haddon will be featured on one of my songs called Higher. Of course, I'll have my Stellar Award winning song Redeemed featuring Molly Music. And there's a song called You Said So featuring William Singers, a quartet group, just amazing group that loves the Lord, who has a very unique sound. So those are a few features, and you never know. You never know who else might be gracing the project as we continue to shape it up. But I'm excited. The process for getting those singers, oh my God, favor of the Lord, the blessings of the Lord, being in the right
Right.
place at the right time, connected to the right people. I got to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Marcus Hodge. He's an amazing producer and creative mind out of Los Angeles, California. And he produced my first four songs, which created my first EP. And through the relationship that I had with him, and the artist, which I just named, we were able to kind of bring it all together and bring it on home. And it was just the grace of God.
That is awesome. During your process, when you were, well, let me go here. Where you are currently in your career, when you look back to the very first studio session that you ever had, when you first believed that you could do this as a vocation or a profession or a ministry, when you look back at that moment, can you, when you sit here now, do you feel like you were ready at that time, or do you feel like the process brought you to this point now where you feel like you are actually in the space that you are supposed to be in, if that makes sense? When you look back on that, were you ready?
Yes, I was ready. I had waited for a long time to record. I had been talking about recording for probably 6 years before I actually recorded. So, starting in 2012 is when I really said I want to pursue a professional career in gospel music. And I didn't record until 2018. So during those 6 years, I prepared myself. I studied my craft. I attached myself to the
Ah,
people that I know was experienced, those people that I knew was successful, those people that I know were more wiser in the industry. And I studied. I studied the industry. I studied the who's who. I studied the producers and the artists. And I saved my money. Good God, it is expensive. I saved my money and I prayed. I spent the time praying and seeking God and asking God for direction. And so when 2018 came, I had been sitting here preparing myself for 6 years. And it was almost as God Himself just released me. He gave me such a calmness
Mm.
to go forward, and he literally opened the door. And that's the only way I was committed to moving. God, if you want me to do this assignment, I need you to open the door, and I need the way to be easy. And that's how I knew it was of God.
Wow. Wow. So who was the first person? First of all, who are you most surprised to find out was aware of you? The like someone of note, somebody, who are you most surprised to find out knew about you or was a fan of you?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question. I gotta say, Jacqueline Carr. I met Jacqueline a few
Wow.
months ago, and I was introduced to her by my manager, Tony Marshall, and he began to kind of tell her a little
How about
bit
Tony Marshall?
behind my story and who I was. And she just paused and she stopped and she smiled. She says, I know who she is. She says, you won the Stella Award. And she told me exactly what I had on and told me exactly the song that I sang. And I was like, ah, oh my God. And so it's just a humbling experience. You never know who's watching you, right? You have eyes, you have
That's a
ears
fact.
to you. And so it behooves you just to always be doing the right thing and to conduct yourself as if everybody sees you. So I'm just humbled. I give God glory. There's nothing fancy about me, but everything I am is because of who God is.
That is awesome. That is that is amazing.
Yes.
Um, so going forward, let's talk about that. Like you brought up an interesting point. Now, this is something that I've had other artists on here, and we've discussed it in varying degrees. Um, Talk about the comparison between secular artists and Christian artists, in terms of the process, and particularly the imaging part. You have on the secular side, you have female artists that portray a certain image in order to match the style of music that they're actually showing or whatever. And it usually, I guess it usually goes hand in hand, I guess. First off, how important is imaging in Christian music? Is there even a place for imaging in Christian music? And I asked you this particularly because in my research of you, you are a fashion plate. I can tell that you pay particular attention to your I'm trying to find a word,
My wardrobe,
to
my
your
attire. Yeah.
presentation, to your
Yes.
presentation.
Mhm.
Um, how important is that in Christian music, or more specifically, how important is imaging to you going forward in your process?
Yes. So I love fashion. I love to dress. I came from a family who dresses. They put on fur coats and hats and gloves and lace and diamonds to go to the grocery store. So it's in my blood. It's in my DNA. And for me, I really think that it depends on the person. I think the answer will probably vary depending upon the artist that you ask. But for
Absolutely.
me, fashion and faith go hand in hand. They are essential to my brand. That is how I am identified. And it's something that I love and I hold dearly. I just believe the people of God should look and sound amazing, sound incredible. They said we are king's kids. So I can dress like it and I can sing like it and I can walk like it. And it's a unique identifier to me. I believe that your image and your brand speaks before you even open up your mouth to say a word or to sing a note. People see you. And so a lot of times when I step in the room, people see me, they're already looking at me when I'm coming in because there's something unique and distinguishable about what I have on. If you know Amethyst, Amethyst loves the glitz. She loves the glam. She loves stuff that's over the top, that's doing too much. I love it. Give it to me. I'll do it. But yeah, I think it's a part of my brand, and I think that it's so essential as we evolve in time. I believe that we can do it tastefully. I believe that we can do both. I think that we can be fashion forward, and we can hold on to our faith. And when my stylist asked me what's my vision, I said I want New York Fashion Week meets gospel music. So they already know to push the envelope, do it tastefully, be graceful about it, but we go push it.
This is definitely the most descriptive and most colorful answer that I've ever gotten once I've asked this question. And it's always interesting because on one side I've had artists say modesty, no jewelry, no name brands, no labels, no nothing, modesty. You got to go forth modestly. But then on the other side, more in line with what you're saying, they say, hey, look, if I can afford Gucci or Prada or whatever, Balenciaga, whatever the brand name may be, I'm going to do that, because not only for myself, but because if I'm portraying a God that's able to bless exponentially, then I have to look the part as well. And so you get, and then you get a lot of stuff in between. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and particularly for women, I think that, and I'll ask you this too: is it, when it comes to that, is it more of a challenge for you when it comes to the perception of the church, particularly when you have, for instance, you have a young lady who may be very shapely, very curvy, very voluptuous, whatever the right word for that is, right? Now God has made her in this way. No matter what she wears, it accentuates what she's been blessed with. You know what I'm saying? And so what does she do? You know what I'm saying? How does she move? And so, like I said, more specifically with you, like, is that a consistent thing that you have to contend with personally versus your male counterparts?
Absolutely. I do think that female gospel artists have to be a little bit more cognizant of what we wear. I think that, again, we can do it and do it well, do it tastefully, but we want to make sure that if there's a move of God, that people are not distracted as we move with the move of God. We need to make sure that we have a sudden jerk or a certain quickening in the spirit, that nothing pops open or nothing comes up. And so, yes, I'm
Right.
always mindful of what I wear when I minister. And there is a difference. Sometimes I may wear something a little bit more different if I'm just attending an event. But if I'm ministering, I take that very seriously. And I never want to be unable to go with the flow of the spirit because I can't move because of what I have on. I don't want to be restricted by my garments. I don't want my praise to be hindered. And so I think that really is a personal conviction, and it comes to relationship with God. And the Holy Ghost will correct you. If you got it, he'll speak to you. He'll tell you if it's too short, if it's too
Right.
tight, or if you're too revealing, or if you need to button it up. Your conviction will correct you. And it's just important to have your own relationship with God and not necessarily be connected to the conviction of everybody else in the world.
Okay. Absolutely. That is an awesome answer. I have a word for you.
Okay.
Entertainment is the word. Now, let me give you a little context on that. Let me form the question so that you kind of understand what context I'm coming at you in. How important is it for me? Well, maybe you can't speak for me, but do you feel that when you minister, how important is it to you that I, as the person that's watching it, be entertained? Is is there an entertain? Is there and should there be an entertainment aspect in what in Christian music or in amethyst music? Is that taboo? I guess you know what I'm saying when you talk about Christian music because it almost when you say perform, you know what I'm saying? It's almost sounds like a curse word almost. So what do you see? How do you feel about that?
So that's a loaded question. As for me, I'm really cognizant of the events. It's
Yeah.
important to me to know the nature of the event. If someone is booking me, I need to know what their expectations are of me. And sometimes the nature of the event, they want you to be entertaining. If you are at a banquet or if you're going to an event where you are the featured artist and it's not necessarily a church event, they may necessarily be looking for more of an entertainment. So actually, my answer should be, I think there should be a delicate balance between both. I'm always going to represent Jesus wherever I go. My songs will always be reflective of who I serve. And I believe that sometimes that you can introduce a level of entertainment, but you can still get your message across. And my father says all the time, um, your
Mm,
message doesn't change. Your method
okay.
may have to change, but the message of Jesus will still ring through.
Awesome. Awesome. Like I said, that's always something that I find very interesting because it's always funny to me and interesting to me how the rules are different. When you talk about faith-based music versus secular music, or as the old people say, the circular music.
Right.
Um, let's talk more about your project. Um, what are you going for in this project? I want to give a personal opinion. Like I think that nowadays, while the music is amazing, don't get me wrong, the music is amazing. Sometimes you get, instead of getting really a direction, you get just a group of good songs, of hot songs, or I heard somebody say a playlist. You don't necessarily, I don't necessarily see the themed projects like I used to. Like it takes you from this extreme to this extreme. You know what I'm saying? It takes me from the point where I didn't know Jesus to the point where I met him, and then I had the issues, and then the repentance, and then back to the victim. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you don't necessarily see that that lifespan in a lot of projects. You just nowadays you just see projects with a lot, like I said, a lot of really good songs, but it's there's really no cohesion um with the music in some cases, not all cases, but some cases. What would you say about that? And in terms of your project.
Yes, so I don't know if my project would necessarily have a theme, right? My vision and
Mhm.
my goal is to be able to be relatable and have something that can people can minister to. It can minister to their spirits. Again, no matter what specific type of genre of gospel music that you like, or no matter where you are in your walk with Jesus, I want you to be able to find something that resonates in your heart and your mind and spirit, something that encourages you on the project. And so you'll probably get a little mixture and variation of some traditional songs. You'll get some contemporary songs. You'll get a little urban on there. But I want it to be a full representation of the versatility of Amethyst. Amethyst is very dynamic. I have a huge repertoire. I have a huge range, and I want my listeners to get a glimpse of Amethyst as an artist. And so the real roundedness of the full aspect of who Amethyst is.
That's awesome. I definitely. You are really good. You are really,
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you so
You're
much.
really, really good. Um, you've done this before. Oh, I am. Yeah, and I tell people all the time. I mean, when I was growing up, I went to church. My mom took me to church. I was in church almost every day of the week.
Yes.
However, I wasn't. The church wasn't necessarily in me. Like I didn't really see the important. It was just something that we did. And then fast forward to my adult life, that's when I really got introduced to Christian music. The first CD I ever bought, Christian CD I ever bought was Fred Hammond, Pages of Life.
Yes. Come
And
on now.
so, so like, um, a lot of the music that you probably would consider that's old. It's really new to me. Like I still have not heard everything. You know what I'm saying? And so it's definitely being a music fan, Christian music fan. This is super fun. It's super
Yeah.
fun just learning and growing and living vicariously through people like yourself. So if you could have it your way, right?
Mhm.
If you could have it your way, what would you want me to know about you just by listening to your project in its totality? What's the one major thing that you would want me to gain by hearing, not by talking to you now, but just by listening to your project in its totality? If you could have it your way, what would you want me to take from it?
I want to know that I have a relationship with God. It's important to me that people
Mhm.
understand and they feel the love of God through the music that I sing. I want people to understand that it's the anointing that makes the difference. Some people sing just to entertain. I sing to encourage. I sing to uplift. I sing to have people say that their life has been transformed, to give you hope, to let you know that there is inspiration and that there is no situation that you will ever go through that you can't make it through. And so when you hear my voice and you hear the passion behind the music and the words that I sing, I want you to go from that song feeling uplifted that you can make it, that there is no storm that won't end without being in the light of Jesus.
Yes, you definitely have done this before. um, Let me ask you this, because I'm trying to stump you, right? Um,
Okay.
what would you say is the best advice you've gotten and the worst advice you've gotten since you started your musical journey in 2018?
The best advice I've gotten is probably to be myself. I think as gospel artists, we can lose ourselves focusing on the people that we think are reigning in the industry, the people that is popular, the people that we see the most, the people whose songs are being played the most. And we begin to study them. And sometimes we unconsciously start to imitate them. We want to sound like them.
Right,
We want to sing like them. We want to learn
right.
the reins and do the runs that they do. But the best advice I got is to be you. Your gift and your calling is for you. And there will be people, I don't care, the most gifted artists can already be out there, but there'll be people out there who will love you, who embrace you because the gift of God that He's given to you. The worst advice that I've gotten uh, is to probably spend money on things that don't matter. And so I learned really, really quickly that there are some amazing artists out here, and sometimes they burn through their money with the production, with the songwriting, with producing the album, and then there's
Mm.
nothing left to market it. And I tell people now that I will never make that mistake again, that the production is equally as important as the marketing, and sometimes better. Your marketing gives you the platform, it gives you the exposure that you need to be able to push your music. And so, radio reps and being able to have relationships is essentially just as important as getting the project done. So, be prepared for both.
Wow. You know what? It's funny that you even mentioned that, because my last guest was she owned a marketing company, and we were discussing how that's never a subject of conversation. And I'm not talking about just in music. I'm talking about in entrepreneurship.
Oh, yes.
Marketing is never a subject of conversation. We never we feel like we get to a place where we feel like the product is going to do everything.
No.
Like, just by virtue of you see, like I do, this is my t-shirt brand, Faith Over Fear. Like, just I figure if I just wear this shirt enough times, people will start coming. But that's not the case. And we were talking about that very thing. That's one thing that we do not pay much attention to, is the marketing.
It's essential. And
What
there's
would you
some of the
say?
most gifted artists probably will never
Was
be
there a
heard.
moment? Mm, wow. Wow. Yeah, because and that's I mean, that's definitely confirmation, because like I said, I was just speaking to somebody about that very thing. Marketing. Um, it's just simply not something that we invest in. Like you said, we just don't invest. And so that in and of itself kind of puts you in a different conversation, as do you consider yourself do you consider yourself an independent artist at this point, or are you signed? Do you feel what's your current status at this point?
I am very much an independent artist. I am the CEO of my own company. I'm Majestic Productions, Royalty Productions LLC, and everything that you see, I pay for. My husband and I. Shout out to my husband, Brandon Turner. He's amazing, and I could not do any of this without him. So yes, all of the songs, all of the producers, all of the musicians, all the music videos that you see come out of our own pocket, and I'm just thankful just to be able to do it at the level in which I'm doing it.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Um, and you mentioned your husband.
Mhm.
Um, what part has he played in this whole process? How essential, can you speak to his role in this whole amethyst thing? What where does he fit in?
My husband's played a very essential, a very vital role in my entire brand. He has gone through almost every studio session with me, and I call him Ike Turner. Because he be in the room giving me
Wow.
faces, telling me to sing from my loins, sing here and push it on top. He ain't never had a
Right,
music lesson in his entire life. But some people just know what good music is supposed to sound like.
right,
And I really got to give my
right.
husband credit. The song that won the Stellar Award, Redeemed, that was his idea. He said, "You need a Caribbean song. You need like a
Mm,
calypso type of beat song on your music." And I'm like, I don't sing that type of music. He was like, "You need to open up your eyes. Don't limit yourself. If God hasn't limited you, just try it." And who knew? Who knew that the song would go as far as it did, and it will be braced all over the world, and it will allow me to win my first Stellar Award. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful for his prayers, for his support, physically and financially.
okay. Awesome. Awesome. And what's his name again?
Brandon Turner.
Shout out to Brandon Turner. My best friend's name is Brandon.
Okay.
Shout out to shout out Mr. Turner, Mr.
Yes,
Brandon Turner.
absolutely.
Shout out to you. Let's shift gears a little bit. What are you doing outside of the music? What does Amethyst do when she's not on the road or in the studio or making videos? What does she do?
Brainstorming, planning, praying, seeking God, and then spending time with my two wonderful boys. I have two sons. Braylon is 5, and Brandon the second. He is 9, and so they keep me busy. Brandon is a football player, so I'm a football mom. In some seasons, you'll see me making noise and screaming in the stands. He's very, very good, and so I'm so proud of him. And he's very academic, very scholarly, and so we take our studious efforts very seriously. My dad always said it's salvation. Right next to that is education. People cannot take what's in your head and they cannot take what's in your heart. And then my youngest son is a drummer, and so we play, and he prays and teach them the books of the Bible, the foundation. Charity begins at home, and so I love to spend time with them and to create new memories.
That's awesome. I definitely believe, and I was having a conversation with my wife earlier, about being in agreement. It's so much easier. It's so much easier to go forth in vision when you're in agreement, when you and your family are, particularly you and your husband are in agreement and you're moving in the same type of way. It just feels more like I can look at you and see that you have peace. Like it's all over you. You know what I'm saying? And that's very, very that's very awesome.
Thank
Wow,
you. Peace
just
is
took me
important.
somewhere. But my best friend, right, my best friend, he has a son named Brandon as well.
Okay.
He
I
but
love
and
it.
he has a daughter named Braylon. And
Oh
he has
my
a daughter named
God.
Braylon.
I love it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What a
That's
coincidence. I
crazy.
love it. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Chicago. Let's talk about Chicago for a second.
Yes.
Um, what had what influence does the quote unquote Chicago sound have an influence on how you go about your music? Like what type of influence has just being in Chicago had on your music? I mean, what's the what's the Christian music atmosphere like in Chicago?
The atmosphere is if you get up to sing in Chicago, you better be able to sing. You better get up and come with it. Chicago is so amazing. We have some incredible singers in the city of Chicago. I mean, people who can just flat out sing their face off. And so I've been really fortunate to be embraced by my city. We're kind of hard. We can be hard on people just because we have so many gifted and talented, just genuinely authentic people who can just sing with passion. And so we can be hard on our singers here, but I'm so grateful that I can embrace so many of the gospel pioneers here in Chicago and be able to study. I've been listening to Chicago Mass Choir. You have Darius Brooks and the Thompson Community Singers. I remember all of these people growing up. Ricky Dillard. We have some amazing singers in Chicago, and not Jonathan McReynolds and Todd Delaney. So yeah, if you get up into singing Chicago, you better come with it. Don't be cute. Don't play no games. Get up and sing. Sing.
Okay. So what would you say is the most common misconception that people have about you?
I don't know yet. Well, Uh, Somebody got in my inbox and decided to tell me I'm not Beyonce. So I love Beyonce. I love her artistry. I love her gift.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I'm well aware that I'm not her, but she definitely has inspired me on many levels in terms of her professionalism and the heights in which she's soared to. And so thank you for letting me know that I'm not her, but she is definitely one of my biggest inspirations.
Wow. What will people be surprised to know about you?
Oh my God. People probably will be surprised to know that I'm an introvert. Like if Amethyst had it her way, she'll
Mm,
probably be in the room. She'll be kind of laid back in a quiet space. But when it's game time and it's A time, I'm full throttle. You'll see a big personality, and I'm here for all the laughs, the fun, and the giggles. But ordinarily, Amethyst is probably more quiet, more shy, a little timid. And every time I get ready to sing, my nerves in my stomach be doing tap dancing.
right. You know, there's people that say that when that stops, you should stop.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Um, I had a question that just really, really slipped my mind. At this point in your career, when you look at what you've accomplished in such a and really truthfully in a relatively short time, um, God has kind of been speaking to me lately about embracing greatness. Um, a lot of times this is something that you showed me. There's a thin line between fear and humility. And what a lot of people do is try to disguise fear with humility. And what I mean by that is that they'll turn down opportunities using the justification of humility, like I'll let the next person do that. I'm not big enough to do that, or
Mhm.
I don't think I would do it any justice when it actually is fear. You know what I mean? That's governing them. Um, so God has really been speaking to me about embracing greatness. In other words, whatever gift, talent, ability, mantle, position, title, whatever He's giving you, right?
Mhm.
Being able to walk in it in the fullness of it boldly without worrying about whether people are thinking that you're arrogant or whatever. Do you feel like at this point in your career, you have 100% embraced your greatness? Do you consider yourself great?
I consider myself to be on the way to being great. And my father says something to me, something all the time to me. He says, you must forever remain a student of your profession. And although I've made some wonderful strides towards my destiny, towards my calling, I'm still learning. I'm still striving. And my father says, when you die, you should die with your hands reaching up. That you should never settle for a level of complacency. And I kind of feel like I'm just tapping the surface. I'm still getting warmed up. I don't even believe that I have even tapped the surface of my greatest potential. And so I'm on the way to being great, but I certainly have not arrived yet.
Okay. Okay. And the reason why I said that, like I said, God's really been dealing with speaking to me on that. You know what I'm saying? I think that sometimes we get we get caught up in that word, great, and we say, "Oh, okay, just pump the brakes, pump the brakes, or whatever."
Mhm.
But I was reading in Genesis, and He said that He will make you a great nation.
Yes.
He will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And so, if that's what He's doing, if that's what He intends to do, if that's His promise to me, then in order for me to be able to do his work in the most excellent of ways, I have to embrace that promise. You know what I'm saying? So God has is placing in me, as he's already, I'm the seed. So in the natural sense, you know that a seed has everything that it needs, already has everything that it needs in it.
Yes.
And so he places that in me. So like I you know, that's just a question that I ask people, like, you know, do you feel like you've totally embraced what God has for you, or the direction that he wants you to go in? But that's whatever. Um, this is actually my last official question for you. It's a question that I ask all my guests, right? So when I ask you this, just take a moment, think about it, and give me the most honest and transparent answer that you could possibly give me, okay?
Okay.
Here's the question. What would have to happen in your life, if it has not happened already, for you to consider your life a success? What does success look like for you specifically?
That's a wonderful question. For Amethyst, my success is not defined by the accolades, by the awards, by the trophies. Success is defined as me being in position to fulfill my purpose, that I've accomplished my calling, and that I am on the path to my destiny. And so I know that there are people who are attached to me along my destiny. And as long as they can be freed, as long as they can be healed, as long as they can be encouraged, as long as their life can be transformed, that defines success. And I believe the awards will come in God's timing. And my motto is just, to God be the glory. That everything that I receive, I'll give it to him. And I promise him that I wouldn't rob him of anything. But everything that is given to me is because of who he is to me.
Awesome. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I somebody told me the other day, success is not the goal, it's the outcome.
Yes, that's good.
That's awesome. Um, for the people that may be watching, or that may watch uh, YouTube or the playback, and maybe they want to get advice, or maybe they want you to expand on something, or maybe they want to know where they can find your music or whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can follow me on all social media outlets at Amethyst Sings. That's AMETHYST, Sings with an S. And then my music is available right now on all digital outlets. Go look me up, Amethyst, just AMETHYST. You can download my latest single, Still Gonna Do It. And you can find my Stellar Award winning single, Redeemed, as well as my first single, Do It.
Awesome. So if you could put it in a percentage, what percentage are you complete with the new project?
We're probably about 70% of the way done.
70%, huh? Okay, that's a
Yes.
good number. Good number.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on. I truly appreciate you coming on and being so honest and transparent. Um, and you know, like I said, I'm not saying I didn't say it just to say it, but you have absolutely been one of the most informative guests that I've had. One of the more,
Thank you.
you know, definitely. No disrespect to anybody else that I've had on here, but you know, you definitely stand out. I want to thank you, and I want you to consider this an open invitation to come on whenever you want or need to. If there's something that you want to promote when the project comes out, you absolutely can come back. Just let me know. Consider this a part of your press junket, if you will. If this is
All right.
this is a stop, this is a stop that you have to make. And it's an open invitation. Anytime, just let me know.
I appreciate that. Thank you so very much for having me, Mike. It's been my absolute pleasure to be with you and to talk and spend some time with your listeners and supporters. So I'm grateful, and I pray the favor of the Lord will continue to bless you and that you will continue to be successful with all the endeavors that He's given to you.
Thank you, and I reciprocate that same to you. I wish you much blessings on all that you have going on and all that you aspire to have going on. I thank you again, and again, I wish you much blessings.
Thank
you
you.
have an awesome night and an awesome weekend. Thank you again.
You too. Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless. Okay. There you go. Another great interview with another amazing guest. I want to shout out Miss Amethyst and Mr. Brandon Turner. Shout out to her husband for letting us borrow her for a few. I thank you for everybody that came on to bear witness to this interview. I thank you for your support, and I thank you for taking the time out, because you could have been doing anything, anywhere, at any time, but you stuck with me, you stuck with us. And so I do not take that as a small thing. I do not take it for granted. I thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And so with that being said, if there's something in your life that you feel God has given you a vision, something that's keeping you up at night, something that you can just taste it, you can see it. If it's that script, if it's that song, if it's that book, if it's that degree, if it's that job, if it's that whatever, step out. If God gives you the vision, He will surely give you the provision. Don't worry about the support. Don't worry about the finances. Just step out. You take a step, He'll take two. And He'll definitely go ahead of you and make the way for you. So with that being said, man, I wish y'all a good night and a good weekend and a good week. And I will see you guys next week. All right. So with that being said, y'all, let's take a walk.
If you live in or plan to visit the great state of South Carolina and you find yourself anywhere near the Myrtle Beach area, you owe it to yourself to check out Mr. Clippers at Heads Up Cuts and Styles Barbershop and Salon, located at 110 El Bethel Road in the big city of Conway, South Carolina. I'm talking about the place where great staff, great atmosphere, and professionalism all come together. Yes, it's definitely a vibe. We service all ages and all hair types. To book an appointment, just head on over to mrclippers.booksy.com. Again, that's mrclippers.booksy.com. You can check out my work, you can check cost of services, and most importantly, check out those reviews. Man, I'm telling you, 5 stars. Listen, as a licensed professional barber with over 20 years of experience, this is what I do. You owe it to yourself to get the look that you want, the sharpness and the precision, just like you want it. Come on by Heads Up Barbershop and Salon and check out Mr. Clippers. It will be my pleasure to give you the service that you deserve.